All right, time's up.
Wait, what?
I said time's up!
The SAT. The SAT, a test administered to millions of college applicants across the nation. Although many feel the SAT is an accurate measure of students' ability, some believe that it is inherently biased and flawed as a whole. During World War I, the first mass-administered IQ test, called the Army Alpha, was used to test the intelligence of recruits. In 1933, it was adapted to select candidates for a Harvard scholarship program by James Bryant Conant. By 1942, the SAT replaced all previous admissions tests and became the aptitude test for nearly all colleges across America to screen possible college students that were right for their school.
Today, it is a global test, and people all around the world take the SAT in efforts to place themselves above others with high scores in the highly competitive college selection process.
Our generation is the biggest generation of kids that the country has ever seen, seeing as we are the second baby boom generation of the United States, known as the boomerang generation. Because of this, SAT scores are even more important than ever with the competition for spots at universities. High school students prepare to take the SAT all over the country every year. But what does the SAT mean to them? To find out, we asked students from a variety of different high schools. On a scale of 1 to 10, how important do you think the SAT is?
I'd give it a 9.
I'd say a good 8.
8.5.
9.5.
Like a 3 or 4.
On an average, how much have you studied for the SAT?
I didn't study at all. About 40 minutes on a track bus.
All year. Most of the English and math was basically based on the SAT stuff.
I studied like that night, the night before it, and then the day of it. So not that much, but it's something easy.
Took a prep class and then I studied on my own.
Have you been stressed out over the SAT?
Not at all. Not until the day of. The day of, I kind of freaked out. I was like, snap, I'm not prepared.
Not overly stressed, but I was a little nervous about it.
Yes, I am.
Definitely. Yes, all year. I was waiting to get it over with.
These statistics demonstrate the point differences across the board between various ethnicities on the different sections of the test. Whites and Asians have outscored other races on the math portions. In fact, whites outscore all of the other races on the English and writing sections of the test. These trends, in the minds of some, prove that College Board has purposefully set up the SAT in the favor of white Americans. Even back when the SAT was first created and solely used for the purposes of Harvard admissions, there were accounts of racial bias. Then, and still now for some parts, much emphasis is put on sports, extracurriculars, personality, leadership, character, and such, as opposed to more specific intellectual criteria.
Many people are still hesitant to believe that the SATs are not geared towards whites. But another factor that comes into play is economics. Lower income schools do not have the same resources or tools of education as higher income schools. In this case, the differences in SATs between races is not necessarily caused by flaws or biases of the SAT, but simply the difference in accessibility to knowledge. The makers of the SAT claim that it is an accurate depiction of a person's ability. Here, if someone was not exposed to knowledge, technically, their ability would be less strong than those who were exposed to it.
It's a barometer to help admissions officials make sense of the country's diverse educational landscape, from the highly regarded and perhaps grade-grubbing private schools to the rigorous and not-so-rigorous public schools.
On their website, College Board explains that the SAT test scores are not the only aspect that colleges look at when going through applications and selecting people to admit. Therefore, there are other qualifications that level the playing ground for applicants.
Accessibility to knowledge, such as prep courses, is another big issue when it comes to the SATs. There are numerous courses all over the country, online, in class, or text-based, just for the SAT preparation. With this in mind, the question then becomes, is this really
Intelligence and aptitude test?
Or is this a test of how well a student can take a test? To get more insight on SAT preparation, we talked to Mr. Becker, who runs an SAT workshop at Granite Bay High School with Mr. Caston.
You know, the big prep companies, the captains, the prisons, they like to try to teach lots of the test strategy. We focus more on the content because without, you know, my discipline, without knowing the math, you can have all the test strategy in the world you want, but if you don't know how to do the math, it's not really going to pay off. In English and math both, we're averaging about a 60-point increase. So 3 sections combined, about 180. We've had kids report that their scores have gone up as much as 300 points.
I took a private kind of tutoring thing where you go in and they teach you stuff to prepare you for the SAT over a course of like a month. And it improved my scores by, I want to say, 300 points from the practice test that I started taking to my actual SAT score. So it helps a lot, and I'm still hoping to improve more.
The SAT mainly focuses on reading, mathematics, and writing. It does not test a student's ability in science, foreign language, art, or history. This is why College Board offers subject tests.
One important thing to consider is the fact that there are often tricks and patterns scattered all throughout the SAT, such as one that Gracyk points out in its packet, How to Attack the SAT Like a Natural Test Taker, about the timed essay portion of the test. When you plan your answer, you don't have to worry about being politically correct or trying not to offend your reader. There is no need to worry that you might say the wrong thing. The essay graders only look at how well you develop your essay. In essence, the SAT in this section, as in many others, doesn't grade you on what you know about the topic, but how much you know about the test.
It is a test that's given nationwide, so it gives them an idea of how students are doing on a regular basis. I think it gives them an idea of how a student will, whether or not they will succeed in college in terms of their ability to study and prepare for college. Again, colleges will take your highest score, so preparation. You know, don't wait till the last minute because then that adds more stress.
People have the opportunity to retake the SAT more than once in order to get their scores into the ranges that they want.
Regardless of your view on the SAT, this test is not going away anytime soon. It is the most widely used college admissions test across the country and across the world. For most students looking to go on to a 4-year college or university immediately after high school, taking the SAT is an inevitable fate.
So good luck to all of you out there, and happy studying! My mom hands me this SAT book, says to study it. I said, Mom, what I look like? A scholar? I'm not a part of your system. I took it, I threw it on the ground.